Mel Stride today proved that the Conservatives are nothing more than shameless opportunists, and if they really want to get back in power, they probably need to get rid of anybody that was anything to do with the last Conservative government. And what turned out to be quite a car crash interview for him. It's clear that they don't have anything to go against Keir Starmer, and they're looking for every opportunity to attack him. Now, the easiest one is the removing of the winter fuel allowance. And although they were in favour of taking away free school dinners for actual poor children during the summer holidays, a policy that had to then be reversed after the public backlash, they now seem to be very concerned about means testing for winter fuel allowance. But that's not the only thing they've seen an opportunity for. As you'll see in this clip I'm about to show you, Mel Stride, who had voted in favour of banning smoking altogether, now thinks it's an easy win to claim that banning smoking in restaurant and pub beer gardens is an absolute attack on people's liberties. I mean, how do you go from supporting a bill that bans smoking for everybody to supporting passive smoking to people who are trying to enjoy a nice pint in the sun? In a way, I'm kind of glad that they just keep bouncing around looking for any opportunity to attack the current Labour government, because they're clearly not going to be focused on what they can actually deliver for the people. You have to remember that Cameron beat Gordon Brown. It wasn't because he opposed a smoking ban or tried some radical change like leaving the ACHR or supporting restriction of freedom of movement. It was literally Cameron saying, yes, everything that Gordon Brown and the Labour Party have done is absolutely fantastic, but we can do the same for cheaper. And people like cheaper. The current Tory leadership contenders are still stuck in their old ways of government and not thinking what they can actually do to win votes. So here he is, tying himself up in knots, trying to support something he probably doesn't really believe in.
I want to start off by asking you about what Sir Keir Starmer said about smoking, because he's considering a ban on smoking in some outdoor spaces like pub gardens, and I wonder what you thought of that.
So, look, smoking is still a major problem in our country, 80,000 deaths a year, and we were quite right back in the day to ban smoking in enclosed spaces such as bars. But I think extending this into pub gardens, for example, where the risks of passive smoking are minimal, is not the right thing to do. I think it's the wrong balance, because I think it's going to damage business, and I think it is a press against individual freedom that is unnecessary and the wrong thing to do.
Well, you say it's a press against individual freedom, but Rishi Sunak, of course, you've worked with for a very long time, wanted to stamp out smoking. He said he was prepared to take bold action as Prime Minister, and he brought in this phased tobacco ban, which sees this gradual raising of the age limit at which you can buy cigarettes, which has been taken on by the government. So was he wrong as well?
No, he was right, and I would support that. And the distinction is that in that case, we're looking at people who have never been legally entitled to smoke.
It's still taking away their freedoms, though, isn't it?
Well, these are people that never had that freedom in the first place, in a sense, isn't it?
Early opinion polls suggest the public's in favour of this. A YouGov poll says 58% of the public support a proposed ban like this.
Well, that may be the case, and of course that may or may not change through time as people explore these situations, and businesses, for example, have an opportunity hospitality sector to put its case. But I'm not here just to be led by opinion polls. I'm here to give you my view of what we should do, and I am very concerned about some of the proposals here.
It is true, though, isn't it, that the NHS is struggling? That's one of the reasons that Keir Starmer is putting forward ideas like a smoking ban in outside spaces. Also, we've seen that prisons are overflowing as well, and there's barely any money to tackle any of these problems. Do the Tories need to be honest with people about the legacy they've left?
So this idea that there's this black hole of £22 billion that suddenly Labour has conjured up is a complete misnomer. They knew going into the last general election, and we pressed them hard on this, that they were going to be putting up taxes.
And yet the Home Office has been accused this week of submitting what's been described as woeful budget figures under successive Conservative ministers. The IFS says that they repeatedly lowballed the budget estimates for the cost of asylum and illegal immigration spending. Doesn't that report vindicate, at least in part, Rachel Reeves' claim that the Labour government inherited a worse situation than...
Well, of that 22 billion, over 9 billion of it is simply the wage demands that this government has decided to meet.
But what about this issue of the Home Office?
And the Home Office, well, I was coming to that. So there are often in-year pressures, as they're known, where budgets do go over that which was expected, and they are managed typically in year. We did have the government come forward with something called the estimates to the House of Commons a few weeks ago, in which those kind of numbers would have been within that. Nothing was said at all, as far as I was concerned, at that time.
It's not just with the public, though, that Mel Stride is a shameless opportunist. A few weeks ago, he was quite happy to throw his colleague under the bus as well. And you can watch him doing just that in the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.